Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
Anyway, so let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the world's most decent podcast.
The world's most mediocre.
I don't want to oversell it.
Right. I don't want to oversell it. We might piss off our sponsors.
Set your expectation. It's a decent podcast.
You might be entertained.
It is the second most popular podcast that I am on regularly, so.
Oh.
It takes Alex a second to get every single thing.
I'm so sorry.
It's the lag. There's a lag.
Sure.
Sure,
it's the lag.
I mean, it's between his ear and his cerebral cortex, but there's a lag.
Okay, that was excellent. Thank you. That was really good, Matthew.
All right, so let's talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about as of right now, as of recording live. Election day is tomorrow. When this episode goes out for non-live viewers, Election day will be last week.
When do the dead viewers get this? I forget when the dead viewers get it.
That's it's up to them. Yeah. Anyway, you understand what I mean, and so I thought we would move on to the second part of politics, the part that is equally important but sometimes completely different skill set, which is governance. We've got a lot of we focus a lot on elections for obvious reasons, but electability and able to do the job aren't the same thing. Obviously, our president is a testament to that. He has been elected, and we are not happy with the job he's doing. But
do you have to say duly elected, or can we just say elected?
I mean, any adjective works. Sadly,
sadly elected.
I mean, yeah, but
it works.
It is a thing, and it's true in the corporate world too. Getting the job is a different skill set than doing a job. Mm-hmm. Like being good at interviews doesn't mean you're good at doing the job that the interview is for.
Very true. And sometimes there are no crossover to the skill sets.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I worked with a lot of graphic designers. Being a good interviewer is not a requirement for a graphic designer, but you got to do it to get the job.
Yes, absolutely.
I used to have to interview engineers. They're very bad at interviews.
I mean, unless the interviewing company is smart about interviewing. Like my son was interviewing for jobs, and it was a lot of, how would you code this? Here's a dry erase, board. Show us the stream for how you would do this coding. So at least it was discussing the job, but still being able to do it on the spot quickly in front of an audience is not the job. The job is doing it quietly in your office.
And some fields, I think some fields are better at interpreting that difference and giving, I would imagine if you're in engineering, the person interviewing you probably isn't expecting you to be Mr. Charmer either, because they were an engineer.
The first interview with HR is like they're judging you on things that you don't do well, but then hopefully with the management you are. But you wanted to focus on politics, so let's talk politics.
Well, and I think that politics in a lot of ways is not a unique example of what you're talking about, Matthew, but it is...
It's very visual because we're all seeing it.
Sure, but there's also the element of I think that they want to do a post-mortem win or lose on every election, but they also don't recognize that governance, like they don't reconcile the fact that governance is a separate issue sometimes. So record affects things. So like if it's maybe that's more clear in a re-election if someone loses a re-election, it's like, well, they ran a great campaign. It's like, yeah, but the 4 years before it sucked, or vice versa. Like sometimes it's like,
so when you have the luxury of rear sight, you're able to better,
But they don't tend to do that. They tend to say, okay, well, I don't want to jinx anything, and I don't really believe in jinxing, but I don't want to be accused of jinxing anything. Since we're going live right now, but I want to look at the
we don't have any New Yorkers listening.
Yeah, that's true. The Zohran Mamdani situation is what kind of put me into this mind space, which is, as of right now, it looks like he is likely to win.
Yeah, as of right now, you can combine Cuomo and Silva's votes together, and he'll still win. As of right now, but early polling.
Yeah, and having said that, I think that his campaign is one of the best campaigns we've seen. Inspiring the way he's running his campaign.
New York to vote for him.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously, I do too. Yes.
He's running a true, like, I would say that like Obama 2008 is like the only thing I have. It's the only thing I have to compare it to. And so, but that is, and so if he wins, he will show people a new way of campaigning. But if he wins, he also has to be able to govern well, which that is not entirely up to him. You know, it's and you know, there's
there's a candidate for town council in Apex who is telling people that I'm the only candidate who will lower your taxes. I'm like, really? As a single member of the town council, you're going to lower the taxes? Like that's power that one guy would have. That's like, it's a crazy thing to say you can do.
Yeah. And with you know, running the city of New York, there's a lot that's going to be out of his control because the governor will have some say so. And you two look like you have a weird inside joke right now.
No, just Alex had a great frozen expression.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I am not going to smile. I'm just going to not respond to his expression on his face.
So anyway, you know, there's the governor that could affect certain things that will apply, and there's obviously the president who, to some degree, is incentivized.
There's a general assembly, like you don't pass laws, as an individual mayor.
So and he could also be a crappy politician when he gets there. Like I hope that's not the case.
He could be Fetterman, right? Fetterman ran a great populist campaign where people loved him across the country. He was the model for how to use social media. And I don't know if he went crazy after his stroke or if he was always an evil Republican at heart, but he's a piece of shit now.
Right. And so, like, unfortunately,
and an unreliable one at that.
Unfortunately, if Mamdani gets in and does an amazing job and things move along well for him, in addition to him actually doing a good job, we will be able to look back on it, and they will hopefully learn the right lessons of like, oh, this appealed in a way that we couldn't see coming, although they're not great at even that.
It's true.
But
well, they asked Hakeem Jeffries, is he the future of the Democratic Party? And he did everything not to answer the question. The future is us working hard to do good things and people getting elected. Like,
this should not have been hard to answer.
But that's fine, because when they asked him, "Are you the future?" You know, they asked Mamdani if he's the future, and he said, "I'm focused on the next 2 days. I have to win the election. I'm not the future of anything unless I win, and then I have to do a good job." Like, and that's the key. That he's only the future. Like, he may be the future of how to win, but not if he fails at the job.
Oh yeah, and if he fails, both the Republicans and the Democratic Party they'll also use him as an example of why we can never go far left or left ever again.
Yes,
and so like we have a lot riding on him, like that. It is unfortunate in some ways, like because I want him to do a good job, but I also recognize that it isn't all within his control, and that's the case with a lot of these campaigns. The problem is too, the other thing that has come into the other thing that has popped into my head with this is we haven't really seen someone run this kind of campaign other than Obama that has been for a governing role, because legislative is a kind of wildly different beast in how it's measured.
AOC and Fetterman and populist things, but they're not the same job.
Right. And even Bernie as the senator, not when his presidential.
We never got to see Bernie as an executive because he was in Vermont, and we didn't know who the hell he was.
Right. So we don't know how this translates, and that's the other thing that's a little scary is if he comes, if he comes along and does a great job, hopefully it will open some doors. Yeah. But if he does a bad job, again, regardless of whether or not it's his fault, it's gonna just be, democratic socialism cannot work. Not democratic socialism didn't work.
It wasn't allowed to work.
Yeah.
I mean, the real question is going to be, do the Democrats in the General Assembly work with him or not? Or do they treat him like he's a third-party candidate, even though he won the Democratic primary? Do they say, you're not the same party we are. We want you to fail because we want a normal one of us to be in charge next time.
We want.
Which is kind of always my problem with the idea of a third party running for president without existing anywhere else. It's like, well, who is going to caucus with you? Who is if the left and the right both aren't on your side, how are you going to get anything you want passed through Congress? And so he has the potential that's the case. And hopefully it's not. Hopefully they're smart enough to say, hey, the only way I'm going to get reelected now that the example is there is if I'm on his team, that's how I get reelected in blue state, New York.
Right. And you'll get Staten Island is probably the most conservative of the area, right?
Yeah, of the city, yeah.
Yeah, so Staten Island, they're not going to work with them if it was a Democrat. They're those assembly people won't work with them as much as
The key is as long as he's treated by the General Assembly like a regular Democrat, and there aren't people on the left who say you're too far left of me. I'm not going to help you because I want you to fail. The Mitch McConnell, our only job is to make Obama fail. Mentality.
Yeah,
that would be a huge negative for him. But he seems to have the charisma that should. I think he's not and he's not negative about the Democratic Party. Like they try to make him because the Democratic Party is shitty to him. And when in the interviews I've seen, he refuses to play ball with that. He's like, I'm focused on the election. I'm focused on doing my job.
I love seeing that.
The only Democrat I've heard him say anything bad about is Cuomo.
Who's now running as an independent, so it doesn't even count.
Right.
But he's not. It's not a party thing. It's Cuomo has no integrity and is a piece of dog crap. Who, I mean, I'm proud of my old city that they did not vote for him in the primary. As much as they might have been afraid of this young Muslim socialist, they didn't vote for Cuomo.
Yeah. I wonder too, because Cuomo got the Trump endorsement, or maybe I shouldn't say that because I didn't verify that information. But I saw someone say that I saw something online today that Trump endorsed Cuomo for mayor, which is crazy because he has not gotten out and endorsed some of the other candidates that are embattled right now. Like the Virginia governor race and stuff.
Another conversation is why hasn't he? Is it because they don't want his endorsement because his popularity is so low?
And that's what I was going to say is,
or is it because he's afraid they're going to lose and his endorsement won't be enough, and he doesn't want his endorsement to have failed, so he's not endorsing? It could be on either side. It could be him saying, "I don't want to put myself on their ticket when I think they're going to lose."
NBC News is saying that Trump endorsed Cuomo. And does that hurt Cuomo? It's kind of funny.
In New York City, it's got to.
But
I mean, stealing. Okay, he'll steal. Even in the best case scenario for him, he steals Curtis Silva voters. But Republicans don't usually win mayor in New York, so that's not enough voters.
Well, yeah, and also it's not going to help him with a single Mamdani voter because those people are the ones that. They just see Trump they see Cuomo as blue Trump.
We got to
reword
that. There's really credible allegations that Cuomo was a sexual harasser. But now that we know that he's friends with Trump, I mean, obviously he's not. Trump wouldn't be friends with a sexual harasser, would he? I mean,
no way. No.
He has no history of picking bad friends.
Yeah.
And
no, he's a fantastic judge of character. Of course.
What's that? The prince has been kicked out of his house. Is that what I'm hearing? Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that Mamdani, you're both right when you say Mamdani has been really focused, and hopefully he keeps that focus because I know that. Personally, and I have never lived in New York City, but I've had governors who I was in Massachusetts when Romney got elected governor, and I remember because that was the first election I could vote in, and I voted for Romney, and I'm sorry, America. But within weeks of him becoming governor, I remember thinking, oh, this guy's running for president. This is just. He has no interest in this job. He wanted this job as a stepping stone. And if Mamdani's been so focused that I'm not worried that that's going to, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not worried that's going to happen.
Okay.
And I think that is a huge sign of whether or not you're.
Well, he's too young to be jumping to president yet.
Well, and he can't be president.
Well, I mean, he will be by the end of. I mean, he's 34 now, right? He just had a birthday.
So but he wasn't born in the U.S., was he?
Oh, no. Right. That's right. He's right. He'll never be president, but he could be senator. It could be the highest he could aspire.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of him being 34, a year ago he was claiming he was 33. So what is it?
No. But he came out. He had a campaign ad that said because people didn't like his age, he was planning on becoming 34 over the weekend, and he would continue. He said he wanted to say he will continue to age every day. After that,
I love that take. It's just so low key. Get off my shit. Like, and if you're gonna talk mean or you're going to talk really direct, I'd rather it be that way than in a talk bad about your competition kind of way, which loses my confidence very quickly. If the way you get up is you talk bad about your opponent, come on.
Yeah, I don't follow the press really well, so I don't know if anyone has said this yet, but I am going to coin the term. I'm not calling him a populist candidate. He is ready for this. Ready. The Ted Lasso candidate.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like when Ted Lasso was being slammed by Nate the Great, and they're like, "You better respond. You have to respond." And his response was, "Hey, how'd you miss making fun of my mustache? And how'd you miss making fun of me being a dumb American?" Like just taking it. I'm doing it from my side instead of being negative back. Said, "Oh, Nate's brilliant. It's a good line. I'm just disappointed he did a better joke."
He's done that. I like that. He's done that really well. But he's done it in something else too, which is when they're personal attacks, he does that. When they are racist or Islamophobic attacks on him, he does push back harder because he's not just defending himself; he's defending
but he doesn't
Muslims.
Attack them. He doesn't go like, "Hey, this garlic breath Italian over here." So, like he doesn't do an attack.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't stoop to their level, but he'll say like that is disgusting behavior, or
He calls them out, but he doesn't attack them. Like that's not an ad hominem attack like it was on him. He doesn't attack them. I mean, the closest thing was, and it was a beautiful line, but it was accurate and true, was in the debate where he goes, what I lack in experience, I make up for in integrity. What you lack in integrity, you'll never make up with your experience. I mean, that was a beautiful line.
Fantastic.
It was a direct response to the attack that he's too young and doesn't have experience.
Yeah. I did see a clip of Trump. I saw the clip this morning. I don't know when the clip was, of Trump talking about how
he's dangerous.
Well, no, he said I'm better looking. And, and it was stitched. The video was stitched with this woman being like, "Excuse me, that man is gorgeous."
When I saw that clip, I said that was a great line for Trump. I mean, it was obviously he was making a joke. I mean,
we get to save this.
That's the
forever.
one thing. Like, I'm totally on board with Trump on that. That was a great line, well delivered. Yeah, chef's kiss. Die now. You've reached perfection.
Right.
But you've been saying die now for...
I know, it's just a different reason he should die now.
Of natural causes.
Of natural causes.
In a video game. Not real.
No, real. His heart should cease to pump.
All right.
He's old.
I'm not asking anyone to do anything illegal. I just want Team Cholesterol to win the day.
He is older than the life expectancy for a man in America. So
yeah, and he's not much of a man. So... But I mean, I think, and the fact that he's been talking about heaven and doing random quote unquote good things that he thinks are good deeds, I think is him. Like, I have to save the Christians in Poland. I think it's like him. Like, what will get me into heaven? Like, I'm knock on heaven's door. I need to get in.
Well, and it does. I mean, I know there's been a lot of speculation. It does look like he had a stroke. Like there's the lip thing. Like he something happened. It looks like.
I mean, and I was talking to my son Joseph about it today. Joseph was saying, like, I don't know, but he looks healthy when we see him. And I said, yeah, but so did Biden, except when he had to be at the debate. Like, when you control when you're in front of the camera, you can look healthy because you only go out on your good days when you're just took all your meds and you're pumped up on meds. It's not like we're seeing him at his bad moments. It's controlled.
Yeah.
So hopefully, please, it's just been my birthday. For a birthday present. Donnie,
birthday present for Matthew.
Bow. Go to your eternal rest, please. For me, Donnie.
Yeah,
please, DJ.
At this point, would even be okay with a free pass on heaven if you just go now. Act now.
Act now, and wait, there's more. You get your own cloud. Number 9.
Oh God. Well, I mean, is leaving us with Teal's puppet really that bad?
It's, I mean,
for different reasons.
Time will tell, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping yes. But it's funny. There's been stuff recently in the social web, the social networks of people thinking it means that Mike Johnson will become vice president because he's next in line if Vance becomes president because Trump dies. And it's like,
no,
you
they
can
would
Google
do it.
what's the succession if they both die in an explosion together. It's like I was alive when Ford was appointed president. I mean, 50% of the Congress has to approve it. But it's just a 50%. It's not a filibuster issue.
Yeah.
But like you appoint somebody. So Vance would probably make Peter Thiel as vice president.
So I know that when it was Nixon,
that's for you, Alex.
When it was Nixon, Spiro Agnew resigned first, right?
Right, and
Ford
and Nixon
rose.
Nominated Ford, who was a congressman, who was very beloved. He was very milquetoast. He was well liked by everybody. He was known to be honest and clean cut. It was like a good, look, he's who I'm taking in. There's nothing negative about him. He's just a nice guy. He was kind of like the Biden of his time. He was just kind of establishment guy, but on the right.
Yeah,
and then when Nixon was forced to turn down, suddenly we have a president who was not elected to vice president or president. He was just elected to not even Senate. Like he didn't even win a statewide race. He was just a representative. So just one district elected him, and he became president.
Yeah, I saw some things. I saw some interviews with him where him and his wife were like, we were pretty convinced that like I had gone as far as I was going to go, and because he had wanted to be Speaker of the House, but he didn't get it
he wasn't
at one
that
point.
Popular,
right? And he just kind of was like, well, this is where I'm at, and like if eventually I'll retire, soon. Like it sounded like it was like I may not even run for reelection in a few cycles.
It just fell into his lap.
And then he became president, which
and thanks to him, Saturday Night Live got a really good boost because half the episode started with Chevy Chase doing an impersonation of him and falling into the audience, falling downstairs, falling off ladders because he was known for falling.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I really don't think that our fears are going to materialize anytime soon in a way that's going to cause any bigger issues than the worldwide conflicts that are that we're involved in as a country. That's my fear of dog catching the car. It isn't homegrown stuff.
More
it's
countries
us putting
have
our
nuclear
fingers in
bombs
pies.
now than ever before. We're closer to nuclear war than we've ever been. Worse than like in my childhood when we were sitting under desks and in the hallway.
Right.
Yeah.
So for just one thing real quick is that when I called the episode "What Happens When the Dog Catches the Car," it doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm afraid of it. Like with Mamdani, I actually
the dog
I'm
just
hopeful.
doesn't know what to do with the car once he catches it. It's not that something bad happens. Just I get there and now what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah, chasing the car is separate than what you do when you have it. And so like I really am hopeful.
Conflict. We're not very good at it.
I believe with Mamdani, back to Mamdani for a second, I believe that he is genuine. I believe that he is genuine and he is going to do his best and he's going to do as much of what he told us he wants to do as he is allowed to do. Yeah. I could be wrong. He could Fetterman us. I am aware of that. But he also like that was what I was saying when like having the charisma to get people to vote for you and having the charisma to get assembly people to back you is not the same thing because you need more than charisma with those people. You need cachet. And
look at that. We said the same thing.
Yeah. Twinsies.
I mean, and then so let's put the flip side for a second. I think Hillary Clinton would have made an excellent president, and she was a horrible candidate.
Exactly.
And she would have made
an excellent president. She is about as likable as a
being a candidate.
wet piece of cardboard.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, only during she's campaign. Like once she lost and she went on the talk show circuit, she was so much more personable than she was when she was campaigning. Like the role that she either thought she had to play or her team convinced her she had to play, like to be a woman president and win, whatever role they tried to make her play, who wasn't really her because she was herself on the talk shows.
Okay.
Whether it was her choice or someone else's, did not work. She did not candidate well.
So like because she was out of character, you mean, kind of?
Well, I mean,
she just
if
didn't
you
have the
watch her
charisma
on all the talk shows after she lost, she was making jokes, she was laughing, she was personable. She wasn't nearly as formal and rigid. And it's not just her. I remember thinking that with Bob Dole, who the joke about on SNL, Bob Dole is how scary he was. Norm Macdonald was playing him. He was so scary. And then when he lost, he was on talk shows and he's making jokes and he's relaxed and his posture is different. It's like they're playing the role they think they're supposed to play.
Right.
And which is the opposite of what Bill Clinton did. Bill Clinton went on fucking Arsenio and played the saxophone. Like he did the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And everyone was like, I like that guy. Well, the guys were like, I like him. I'm going to vote for him. And the women were like, oh, I'm going to have an affair with him. That's great. And
I think Ted Cruz is a good example. Not that I think he would have done a good job, but he was going into the 2015 primaries was so many people that I know that are on the right were like, Ted Cruz is my guy.
Yeah, if Trump
because he hadn't spoken
upset the apple cart, he was.
Well, he also
it was him or Jeb Bush. The fight was going to be between the two of them,
right?
And he hadn't shown his lack of charisma. And Jeb Bush is a good example. Jeb arguably is the smarter brother. He is definitely not the more charismatic brother.
Yeah.
And so, would he have done? He'd have been a better president than his brother, most likely,
or a worse one because he'd be more effective at being bad. We don't even know.
Sure.
True. Yeah.
But he was a worse campaigner, and he was more of a wet noodle.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that the candidates we talked about for Apex Town Council when Jason was on are going to all win tomorrow.
Right.
But one of them, Ed, who is currently on the town council running for re-election, he's great and he's brilliant. He was a federal prosecutor. He's a federal defense attorney now. He's brilliant. He's super sharp. He's amazing. He's great. I watch the town council meetings on YouTube and he's really great at the job, but he's so rigid on the campaign trail. He made a couple of good videos responding to some shitty things that other candidates had done that because he's a lawyer, they got his dander up in his response, his cross was really good, but he wasn't canvassing much, and when he's at all the events like Pride and all those kind of events, but he didn't go 10 to 10 shaking hands and running. He was there as a current town council member and being respectful and doing his job and not campaigning. He didn't campaign nearly as hard as he could. Even seeing him at the polls before election, he's being there every day during early voting to greet people, but looks like a lawyer who's there. He's in in his suit and his long duster for the rain and just very formal. And it's I hope he's great at the job, but he's not a charismatic campaigner. I don't know that he can get elected to anything bigger because he's not good at campaigning, even though he's great at the job.
I understand.
I also think campaigning when you already have the job or a political job is a weird balancing act too, because
incumbent is a different world. That's true.
Well, you have the incumbent benefit, but you also have the you're expected to be doing the job while you're campaigning. The other person isn't necessarily. I saw an interview yesterday with some Trump surrogate, and they were saying, don't you think it's crazy that he hasn't been on the campaign trail with the woman in Virginia and a couple other examples that I can't think of? And they were like, well, he's been busy dealing with the crisis in the Middle East and blah, 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 and all the other things. And he's focused. They said he's focused on these things. And I was like, this actually is what you want in a politician, is them to focus on their job more than they're focused on helping their allies win.
Yeah.
And then someone called out and said, well, he might be focused on it, but he's in Mar-a-Lago. And I was like, oh, okay. But
well, in that case.
But ultimately, that is, it's, I don't
George
want
Bush
somebody
used to say when he was in Texas, I'm still working when I'm in Texas. I'm
sure.
The cameras are on me when I'm cutting brush down on the back 40, but then I have all my advisors around me briefing me on the Al Qaeda, on Al Qaeda attacking the Twin Towers, which I'll ignore.
Yeah. I don't want somebody ignoring their job or shirking their responsibilities to try to get reelected or get somebody else elected. So when, the fact that you said it's Ed Gray, right?
Yep.
Ed Gray was there as the town council person. I get it. I think that I would, as a voter, and I am not a normal person, I understand that. I, as a voter, would be like, oh, the guy's doing his job. That's what I want to vote for, not the guy who's out here.
Well, but the flip side also, he didn't have to be at the tent for 8 hours. They did shifts. So he could have also like, I mean, mostly it's I gotta say that the other two people that I voted for, Sue and Shane, I met them for the first time at Apex Pride because I was tabling and they came to my table because they were going to every table saying, "Hey, thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for being here. My name is Shane. I'm running for office."
That's it right there. Yeah.
Like, I didn't see, those are the only two who came by. And Ed maybe would have if I hadn't already talked to him, and we're friends. So like we spoke anyway while we were there, but he didn't come over and he probably knew the other people at my table weren't from Apex, but he didn't come. I don't think he went around and schmoozed. Well, he could have done that on his breaks or when it wasn't his shift. But it's like he doesn't. I think he sees it not his place. It's inappropriate. This is pride. It's not about me. But, I don't think that's why the other candidates.
I get that that's not the best strategy, but I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Like, because I've been in situations where I've been like, the best thing for me and the best thing in general aren't the same thing, and like. I did wedding. This is like a wild
when you were
off
stripping?
topic thing. I did wedding videography for a few weddings, and I would always be like, "Where do you want me that I'm unobtrusive?" And the wedding photographers would come in and while they're putting the ring on the finger, the wedding photographers in between the
husband and wife to get a picture,
getting Mac, and I'm like, that seems like you're out of place.
Not more important than the moment in time.
Exactly. And so I do have a tendency to lean towards the appropriate, and I know that seems wild coming from me, the appropriate way of behaving in certain situations. So I respect that you say that about Ed.
Move to Apex and vote for him.
I won't have time before tomorrow, but
buy some property tonight.
Yeah.
I really don't think that there's any. I don't think there's any innate danger with balancing both abilities, to be likable, to be charismatic, to do the dirty work of how the sausage is made.
Yeah,
getting
I think
elected.
Obama was a good example of that. He got stuff done, not as much. Well, but
he was about
actually,
to be my good example. Yeah,
it was also one of his negatives, though, is he didn't get as much done in his first 2 years when he had the Congress as he could have, because his personality of wanting to build bridges and wanting to work together and not wanting to alienate the Republicans who already hated him for being black stopped him from pushing. Like, he could have done single payer health care. He negotiated it away into Obamacare because the Republicans wouldn't vote for it. And then they didn't, not a single one of them voted for Obamacare after he negotiated it down to get their votes. They all lied when they negotiated. They did not negotiate in good faith. And he didn't learn the lesson from that to just push through his agenda with all Democrat votes. And he could have, and he could have done a lot more, but he was still trying to work within the system instead of same as Biden. They wanted to do the right thing. And it used to be, you could be bipartisan. So I'm trying to be bipartisan. He could have done more, but they were being the person we saw on the campaign trail, who was good and friendly and wanted to work together. And I would have liked a little more bastard when they were in office.
Yeah. Grandpa Joe. That's what we call him in this house.
He got stuff done. He got gun bill done. He got infrastructure done.
He's the most progressive president of my life.
He got great stuff done. And I'm not taking anything away from what he did get, but he probably could have gotten more if he fought harder. Yeah, so he did a good job of getting what he could. So I'm not I think he did a better. Obviously, he did a better job than Obama. He got more done in his time. Obama, except for Obamacare, which again, we could have had single payer if he would have just said, "Fuck you, Republicans! I'm not dealing with you. I'm passing what I want to pass." We would not be where we are today with it being repealed.
Okay, we wouldn't. But then, if he pushed too hard, would it be one of those things that the moment after he's out of office, it gets crushed into oblivion because it wouldn't have been too much the old guy's deal?
If it got so, what would have made it stronger than Obamacare, the single payer, was if it got implemented, it would be dismantling most of the insurance company the way we know it. So you wouldn't be able to just get rid of it because those companies would be gone. They've become smaller amount of insurance companies for like the donut holes or people who want to get private insurance because they're rich and they want to be able to get more than what they can get.
Nothing like what it is now
under Medicare. No. But they wouldn't be United Health and Aetna owning the world.
Nope. It seems sometimes that the more incremental stuff is as easy, if not easier, to undo.
Yeah, exactly.
When you get to it, like when the next
you're leaving the infrastructure in place to turn back on.
Prior to Trump, I know there was some sense of like, well, this is Republicans reinstate and Democrats
deactivate
certain little things, but it was never like I'm going to undo everything.
I'm going to tear down the East Wing and rip it apart so I can build a new bunker underneath it and hide it underneath my ballroom.
I don't even just mean that stuff, but I mean like it has been like Trump's motivation in his first term was to undo everything Obama did, and in his second term is to undo everything he didn't get to with that, or undo everything Biden did. And Bush wasn't trying to do that with Clinton. Obama wasn't trying to do that with Bush. Like there was things that we would say.
There are certain issues that are hardcore Republican, hardcore Democrat that they switch, that are especially things that are executive order appropriate. This is how we're going to run the business while I'm in charge of the business, kind of thing. But nothing to the level of what we've seen. And the thing is,
the best example
Biden didn't do a good job of doing it. Like, he should have undone everything Trump did, and he didn't. He only undid the worst of them.
The best example,
we beat Medicare.
The best example I can think of pre-Trump back and forthism was marijuana enforcement. Like on like having the
decrim.
No,
decriminalization.
Well, wasn't decriminalization
DEA or not DEA?
It was the enforcement
the classification.
Level.
Yeah, no, they would have like in Bush would have like dispensaries raided by the feds, even though they were like legalized in certain places.
They're
legal
in the state,
for
but they're legal under federal law. So he was enforcing federal law, where Obama was like, okay, we're not sending DEA to enforce pot laws in states that said it's legal. Like it's still illegal by federal law, but we're not going to go out of our way to enforce it.
And that was the biggest back and forth I can think
Trump
of. I'm sure there was
enforcing anti-terrorism on national, white national, Christian nationalists. He's only doing it on,
brown people,
charities and stuff.
Yeah, I am honestly a little surprised, and maybe it's just because of how big it's gone pro or in favor of marijuana over the last 15 years. But I'm surprised Trump's DEA hasn't tried cracking down on like legalized marijuana states.
I don't think he's going to go.
There's too much money in it.
It's a business. They pay tax.
True. Okay, fair.
There's so much money in the new green wave that's hoped to happen. That especially, I mean, again, this is my food service work coming into play. The only two categories of the drinks business that increased year over year was tequila and ready to drink, or canned cocktails or beverages. And the biggest part of that canned cocktails and beverages was THC drinks, whether they be seltzers, sodas, alcohol, non-alcohol, doesn't matter. It's all part of that RTD category. And there's so much money in green that most Republicans are even softer on it than they used to be, because it used to just be snoochie boochies and the potheads in front of the convenience store. Whereas
but it's also hard for them to make their case to the public that it'll destroy the state when the states that have had the longest have only made extra revenue. They haven't had a negative.
Well, right. There's that, and there's even I had my little, wait, is that really what I think it is? Moment twice in the past 2 weeks. I was at Total Wine buying some demi-sec champagne for my wife, who got a new job. She doesn't like super dry champagne, so demi-sec's not super easy to find.
Congratulations, Holly.
Yes, thank you.
Congrats.
And the aisles of THC beverage were like 3 or 4. There were floor displays. It was everywhere, like it was commonplace. And then I go to a Halloween party in a known Republican family member's home, where known Republican family members just had it out in the fridge next to beer like it was no big deal. And these are people who would demonize the traditional pothead.
Yeah.
But to them, this is just a beverage that I drink to relax because I don't like alcohol. So yeah, there's too much money in weed right now.
Good.
Mike, to really push back on it too much.
Yeah, he's busy putting money into ice to worry about drinks that are served neat.
Or trying to have a weird Venn diagram of gamers.
My alcohol puns here, man. So the other flip-flop law, and I sound smarter than I am if I remember the name of it, but there's a law that involves funding healthcare, including abortions, in other countries. that every Republican, Democrat, like it's a day one for everyone to turn it off and turn it on. Like Democrats come in and say, yes, we're giving this money to Africa, and Republicans come in and go, not anymore. And like it's one that flips every time it switches.
Okay. Did it not this time?
Like every time it changes office, there's like news stories about it, listen to podcasts or NPR where some people be up in arms, you hear what they did? And then the people who are more in it go, yeah, they did the same thing that was done 8 years ago. It always happens. Like you can yell at Trump for a lot of things. That Bush did that. His daddy did that before him. Like that's what you do.
Yeah.
So did that one stick?
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure Biden flipped it back, and I'm sure that Trump flipped it on day one. Like, but it's one of the ones that's not egregious because they expect it to happen. So probably,
okay.
I don't know for sure, but I imagine the switch got thrown each time, but it's
not hard to believe
compared to the other things he's doing. It doesn't raise a red flag.
So I want to get back to the topic for a sec. So one example of someone who I think is probably a very solid campaigner from everything I've seen of him, and has the benefit of a state that is working well. And I don't know how much. I've heard some people say that it's working well and it's because it's on autopilot and it's not because of him. So I don't know that that's true, but is Governor Newsom. And I think that's somebody who may get the benefit. Like I was saying that Mamdani might get the negative of just people not wanting to work with him. Newsom might be getting the benefit right now of he's governor of the state that is the seventh largest economy in the world and has been running pretty much smoothly straight through or whatever.
But it's got its negatives too. It's the most expensive place to live in the world. People can't but yeah,
but the point being,
problem with him is he's very corporate Democrat, so
he's
no young people like him.
Well, I don't want him.
He's a little slick for my liking.
I don't want him, but I also think that he is possible. Like I think that he is definitely priming to run for president, and I think that right now, I think that he is in a good. He's got a good setup to get going for president, and that is not what I want.
Yeah, I want him to be the effective weapon against Trump that he has been, though he's flapped off recently. He has been making as much news as he was. But I'm happy that he's doing that. I'm happy to support him in doing that. But I then don't want him to be my presidential candidate.
Yeah, I think when it comes to trans rights, he's too much of a step back. I mean, not from Trump, but from every other Democrat that I would like better. I also think that like he is when it comes to like Israel and Palestine, like you don't have to be in like lockstep with my opinions on it, but like he doesn't seem to. He's one of those ones who doesn't want to make any statement whatsoever on the situation, which I get, but I also think like we're gonna need like that's I think part of the problem. With the Harris campaign was that there wasn't a decisive enough.
100%. I mean, it's not hard to say Netanyahu is a war criminal, regardless of what the country of Israel. The current administration is as bad as the current administration that we have here in the United States, or worse. And just like I haven't given up on America, I haven't necessarily given up on Israel, but the current administration are criminals and should be brought to justice. Like that's not a hot take to say that
you can ride the fence while being decisive at the same time, basically.
Yeah, and you can ride the fence on Zionism while being against Netanyahu.
Exactly, and again, it's maybe not your ideal situation, but that is so much better. Whereas he is not doing even that much, and the trans stuff, going on before Charlie Kirk's death and being like, "You're absolutely right about trans stuff, Charlie Kirk." I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah,
and I know it was a lot. I know that unfortunately, it's one of those things where sports has kind of taken over the conversation, and so like we're having the trans issue debate.
Right, on this edge case, there's one athlete who did well.
Yeah, we're using this
take it out on an entire group of people because
right, and like
in a sport you didn't care about before you heard there was a trans person in it.
And maybe there is something there that can make trans sports stuff more fair or equitable or whatever. I'm open to that, especially as a guy who doesn't know shit about sports. Like that's not the art, but like it is becoming the what do you call it? Like the de facto, like your opinion on trans sports is now the argument. It's because we can't have the actual trans argument anymore. So let's do it this way.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm like, I don't want to see people like Newsom being like, yeah, this is pretty unreasonable.
Yeah. The correct response for him to say is, you know what? There are so few trans people percentage-wise in America, and even a less percentage people in sports. Name 5 trans people in sports, 5 trans women in sports that you think have an unfair advantage. Name 5 right now. And if the reporter can't do it, so I'm not talking about that topic if you can't give me 5 issues to talk about. Let's talk about protecting trans people from the dangers of a society that doesn't accept them. That's the conversation I want to have.
Yep. So yeah, I don't want Newsom as president. I'm all about him helping derail the.
Though I will say, if he ends up being the candidate, despite not voting against him in the primary, and it's him or continuing Trump policies, I will then want him to be president while holding my nose and hoping that he is held to accounts by people further left in the party who push him.
Yeah, absolutely. I will hope
because at least he might listen. That's the key. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So even if it's someone who's not your ideal candidate, if they're a person who's more likely to listen to your protest, your march, your letters, to Clinton, who is a Southern boy who was not real comfortable with gay people, and he was like, don't ask, don't tell was as close as he was going to come at first. But eventually he became pro, gays in the military and gay marriage because he was close enough that he would listen to other people and he changed his opinion. Same with Obama. When he first started in office, he was not for gay marriage. And by the end, he was for gay marriage because he was able to he wasn't so far the other way that he wasn't able to change.
Yeah. With Obama, I kind of think that he just knew he couldn't say in 2008 that he was. I think that it might have been less.
I think it wasn't as realistic a thing like this could happen in your presidency. This is around the corner, so you have to take a stance. It's kind of a hypothetical, but once it became real. But I was thinking he gave it real thought. Like if he hadn't given it real thought, like, do you think this really unlikely, crazy thing should happen? Like, it's not on my agenda. I got other things to worry about. Versus, it's possible. So now that I think about it.
Yeah. Personally, if Newsom is the candidate, I will vote for him the way I voted for Joe Biden, reluctantly and hoping.
And then hopefully I'll be surprised like I was with Joe Biden that he was better than I thought he would be for at least 2 years.
In the primaries in 2020, Biden and Harris were my least favorite of the actual chance ones. Not like Marianne Williamson.
Bloomberg, right?
I forgot Bloomberg was in it.
But like halfway through being like, nobody is conservative enough.
Oh yeah. No, of the people that of the main 4 or 5 that had a shot in hell, those 2 were my least favorite. And I held my nose and I voted for them, and both of them surprised me by being better. And
what's funny is one of the political podcasts I was listening to back then kept saying, but the person who's running in the primary, Joe Biden is not the real Joe Biden. He has always been kind of in the center of the Democratic Party, and he was running further to the right than he is. He goes, because he was looking and saying, I'm not going to beat Bernie and Warren on being left. So there's an empty lane here. I'm going to run in this lane and get all the votes of people who, like Amy Klobuchar was the only other person that had a chance to get those votes, the moderate votes. And he got all those further right votes enough to win. And then obviously he moved left because that's where he went back to where he really was. He just was really good at campaigning and knew this is the way I'll win. Showing my true self is not the way I win. Winning is there's 3 lanes here I can occupy on the right instead of fighting over the 2 lanes on the left over there.
Yeah.
Pick your battles is sometimes the sad reality.
So when I voted for him, I had less holding my nose because I trusted the podcast I was listening to that what they said sounded reasonable. So I was hoping they were right, and they turned out to be even righter than I thought because he didn't he wasn't center of the party. He moved the party a little left in his things he got done.
Yep. Yeah, and I think again, I think there's, with 1 or 2 exceptions, he is the most progressive president we've had in my life. I was born post Jimmy Carter, so
I mean, in getting things done. I think like Carter was great foreign affairs. He got the Camp David Accords, but he didn't get a lot done domestically. I mean, Nixon fucked us our economy, and it died under Carter, and he couldn't fix it. Biden did a really good job of fixing the economy that Trump broke. Like he did a better job of it. I mean, no one did as good a job with the economy, really. I think that's by Clinton. As shitty as he was, he did really good with the economy.
That's
shitty as he was as a person. I mean, he did some other things okay.
All right. Do we have any last thoughts before we start wrapping things up?
If you're listening to the live and there is a municipal election where you live tomorrow, vote,
please.
Also, just so you know, at the beginning of everything, Ricochet Rita signed off because her cell phone was dying, but she said that she liked the live at the beginning, so you wouldn't yell at her this week like you did last week. But yeah, other than that, I think it's just
who does lives for his football shit all the time, and he's always like, "There are 13 people in the chat. Why do I only have 3 likes?"
Right.
Yeah. So no, I agree. Let's vote tomorrow if you haven't already, because early voting has been a possibility.
Unless you're in Chicago, don't vote twice.
So I'm guessing that 2 of the 3 people in chat have already voted, because it's
Logan. Have you voted?
It's Leah and Madhavi. Oh, Logan could be on here, but he hasn't commented.
Leah Madhavi and I all voted. I took and Joseph, and then I took my mom to vote curbside. It took forever in the rain. It was miserable, but she eventually got to cast her ballot. So
good.
And she's in your territory, Mike. She's
she probably votes the same. She probably votes at the same place I vote.
Well, I took her to vote in Apex because during early voting, you can go anywhere.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's start wrapping things up because I'm hungry.
Okay, you're hungry. I made a meatloaf, and it took longer to cook than I expected, so I took it out of the oven and then came up here to log on. So I just smell of meatloaf. And if you smell of meatloaf and you're watching the stream, comment below how you like your meatloaf, because I'm a huge meatloaf fan. People say like, "Oh, I hate meatloaf. I hate meatloaf," and people are like, "Well, you like my meatloaf." You know what my meatloaf is? I'm going to give you a secret to my meatloaf. It's on the fucking side of a Lipton onion soup mix. There's a recipe for meatloaf. It's fucking great. My mother made it my whole life. She'd take it to potlucks, and people are like, "Sandra makes the best meatloaf." Fucking Lipton makes the best meatloaf. She also follows the recipe, though she will say to you that Aldi's onion soup mix has more onion in it, so she would use Aldi's onion soup mix with Lipton's recipe. That being said, make a comment about your favorite meatloaf, your favorite way to serve it. Personally, I like to make it in mini bundt cake molds, so everyone gets a little bundt cake sized meatloaf or a little loaf one, either one of those. I like the personal touch. But how do you like your meatloaf? Comment below. While you're commenting, like the video, like Ricochet Rita. Bing, 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 Ricochet Rita did. And make sure you're subscribed to our channel and make sure you ring the notification bell just so that we can annoy you when we go live.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this wherever you find podcasts, please hit the thumbs up or the plus sign or whatever it is to follow us.
Or rate it 5 stars. Whatever
rate
your
us 5 stars.
Will
give us a review. And if you want to do more than that, you could go on to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff.
Well, what can they do at patreon.com/talking about the big stuff?
Well, they can subscribe there. And there's 4 options for subscription there. There's the free option, which just gets you all the same stuff as you would get on another podcast player.
So there's no reason to do the unpaid option there, because you can do it anywhere. So while you're there,
other than notifications, but you could do one of the paid
more
options.
Money, Mike, shut up.
Yeah. You could do for $1 a month. You can get all of our episodes 4 days free,
and you can feed Pedro.
Yeah,
he was a good candidate. Vote Pedro.
Yeah. For $3, you get some extra bonus stuff, and for $10, you get the pre-show stuff that we talk about.
A little behind the scenes, a little shit. What's going on in our lives? What did I eat at my mother's birthday dinner?
Yeah, and
I'll tell you, it was a veal chop. It was smothered. It was delicious.
Anyway, so that's how you can support us that way. If you're watching live, this is tomorrow. If you're not watching, what I'm about to say is for tomorrow. But if you're not watching live, my book is finally out.
Dun, dun,
the Dinner Party is a novel that is coming out on November 4th. So that was last week.
It's a novel. It just came out.
And it is getting great reviews. It is. Some people have said that it has some spice content. If you are into that kind of thing,
book talk beware.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be, I'm really excited. I hope that everybody who grabs a copy likes it, and I hope you all grab a copy, all 7 of you. And we will talk.
I mean, seriously, good book, great early reader reviews.
Yeah.
So he's not just saying it. We've got people saying it.
I expect that there'll be a bunch of reviews tomorrow too, because I have a bunch of reviewers that I think we're holding till publication day. And Matthew, any last thoughts?
Just want to thank everyone who stuck with us to the end. Rita, who didn't, because now you know that we are better at governing this job than we are promoting it.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. If you have thoughts or questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, drop us a line on our social media channels. Engage with this video when you are now watching it as a VOD on YouTube. Send us an email. We love hearing from our listeners, bringing us topics, because if you leave it up to the 3 of us, we're going to eventually be talking about underwater basket weaving. So we would appreciate you guys reaching out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to Talking About the Big Stuff on your favorite platform. Give us a 5-star rating. Engage with it. Criticize us. We need to grow and be better, and you're going to help us be there. You're going to help us get to that point. It really helps us more to reach out and also to keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more big ideas and more thought-provoking discussions. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep talking about the big stuff.
The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.